All right, we made it to part 3. Hey guys, this one's gonna be a lot shorter than the second one, so I apologize it went so long. It's complicated, and I hope I'm explaining it as best as I can. This platform, recording lectures, is bonkers. It's totally different than in the classroom, so I apologize if I'm not doing it correctly or I'm not making any sense. So if that is the case, please leave a comment under the videos, and I have notifications. I will answer them as best as possible. And also just leave me a rating that you liked it, that it was informational, that whatever, just anything. Your feedback will mean the world to me. I've spent hours just setting this whole system up and figuring this all out. Not, like I said, not every week is going to be this like YouTube PowerPoint lecture based system. Next week is going to be more reading and responses. So about this information. So I just kind of wanted to throw this all out there and then move forward. All right, so this is part 3. So this is the last section, video section of an Industrial Revolution lecture. So after this video, you can finish the guide notes and then turn them in, right, for those points. Okay, so part 3 covers the responses to the Industrial Revolution. So as we kind of discussed at the end of part 1, let me see if I can find that real quick. I asked you guys to think about what could the workers do to improve their working conditions, and who could the workers ask to help them that would be strong enough to enforce these reforms. So as you know, living in an industrialized society today, it is not as harsh. There are children in factories. Factories are pretty rare nowadays, at least in America. You know, and our government works a little bit more for us, the common man. So, but it's taken a long time for us to get to that point. America wasn't formed and perfect in the beginning. It took a lot of work, a lot of striking, a lot of people died trying to make our government better and work more for the people. Okay, so we're going to talk about these changes. So basically, you get, let me go back. Okay. So the rise of labor unions. So a union is organized workers. Basically at a factory, even teachers, like the Red for Ed teacher strike, those all led by labor unions. Basically people who work on the same field can, if they have issues in regards to work hours, salary, working conditions, so on and so forth, they can use their power of numbers to force companies or institutions to make changes or reforms. So labor unions became legalized, and tons of workers from all different industries started to join. Labor unions have the power to strike. So a strike is when all workers stop working at once. This gained better working conditions from business owners. So here's a situation of the worker versus an owner. If it's just one worker, the worker's like, I'm working hard, I want a raise. And the owner can easily be like, why should you get a raise? You're fired. And so it doesn't really work, right? But if you have a bunch, all your workers, all of them, here they come. And they're like, we're working really hard. We demand a raise or we'll shut down the factory. So now the owner's entire enterprise is now at stake, right? The one worker, you're easily replaceable. All my workers, not so replaceable. The owner's like, hold on, don't be hasty. Let's see what we can do. So imagine this group, okay, in this picture, it says work or riot, one or the other, okay? And the question is, think about it. Why would some people support this group and other people oppose this group. So I want you to imagine that these men right here are all the teachers during the Red Friday Union. What were some of the arguments in support of teachers, and what were some of the arguments against the teachers' strike? Or if that's hard for you to figure out why some people would oppose it, what if it was right now? What if all the grocery store workers went on strike? Or all of the delivery food app people went on strike? Or the city bus workers went on strike? That would impact a lot of people's transportation, access to food. I mean, it could really stop or harm society. So go ahead and pause this and answer that question. Another reason is protests can get violent. Especially back then, protesters, there would be an outright war with companies and with the government. There's some examples of labor unrest, people being hit. In that picture there's like a laborer with a baton and the police officer laying down. Oh, that's great. Look at police officers and workers firing at each other. I mean, yeah, it can be chaotic. Oops. I'm going through. All right, so it was really bad. And there were, like I said, outright wars being started within cities and towns to fight the unfair labor standards and working conditions. So the city had to make changes. So through the late 1800s and early 1900s, government started passing laws which enforced various reforms. My dog is snoring. Okay, so some of the city reforms are, factories became safer, people worked shorter hours, wages were increased, they created a minimum wage and a 40-hour work week, and millions moved from poor to middle class. So what was one of the good things is that America created, or not America, but these industrialized economies. First, for a while, it was like basically just like it was in the old days. There wasn't really a middle class or like people who had a good living standard. It was like you either were the haves and have-nots. From these reforms, there was this growth of the middle class and the American dream. Another thing is cities became safer with police and fire departments. And these are all public institutions, like the police, fire, like we pay taxes that fund them. So it's a socialist type of program. Here's early police officers' uniforms. You have the fire department here. Those are pretty dumb. You had cleaner, and cleaner through public, okay, yeah. And the cities became a lot more cleaner through public sanitation projects. So they created sewers, thank goodness, because throwing your feces out the window is a little much. Drinking fountains, aqueducts, water towers, cleaner water. Those things suck. You have toilets that are invented. Thank God. Child labor was reduced and eliminated completely. Children, the creation of free public education came about in the late 1800s. Woo! Education. Wait, do you guys see that heater in that classroom? It's pretty dope, right? Look at that heater. like right in front of those two girls. How many of you guys will love to sit back there, right behind that heater? All right, what kind of student are you? Are you the, oh my God, get me out of here kind of student? Are you the like, I love this book, I love reading, I love school? I just love, there's a, in the middle, the little girl and her eyes are just staring directly at the camera. And then also on the left, the little boy with his pencil, him staring right at the camera. It's great. This looks like my classroom, for sure. Ow. Ew. There was like sound with that. I apologize. So sports and leisure. So workers gain more time for leisure activities. We actually had a weekend. So things like music, concerts, radio, movies, bike riding, sports, baseball became popular in the United States or was invented at this time. And soccer was invented in Europe. We had theaters became very popular, and bicycling and Ferris wheel and what do you call them? State fairs became more popular. Haha, and then Charlie Chaplin, the silent movies. By the way, Modern Times, the full movie. I hope, did you guys like that movie? The full movie is on YouTube, so you should totally watch it. It's incredible, and what an actor. It's still, he's still funny right today, so whatever. All right, guys, that is the end. I hope you enjoyed it, and good luck, and turn in those guide notes, and that is it for the week. All right, bye. Bye. Ew, I can't. No, don't look at me. Don't. No. Don't look at my life. No.